If you're trying to figure out how to actually profit share with a client, like where do you even start? What do you offer them? What funnel do you help them run? This video is for you. If you don't know me already, I'm AJ. I've been profit sharing with an online coaching business for the last 3 years, and it's my duty now to help marketers like you scale to 30, 50K months with a successful profit share. One of the most common questions I get by the marketers is this: hey, AJ, I have a client I'm working with and I want a profit share and scale, but where do we start? What funnel do I help them run? Do I run ads? Do I run a challenge? Do I run a low ticket, a webinar? What do I do? So I'm going to walk through with you exactly how I think about this, my own frameworks, what works, what doesn't, what I've tried, and where to start depending on the client that you are working with. Let's jump in. So today I'm going to be talking to you about funnels. What sort of funnel to run when you meet a new client, you want a profit share. I want to walk you through exactly what to think about when you're thinking about profit sharing with a client. Okay, so that's the main question I'm going to ask today. What question? What funnel to run? So I'm going to talk about things like how easy it is to run it. What do you need? What you should think about in terms of sales team. Does the person have a sales team at all? Is it just him? His attitude. Is he like more lifestyle focused? Is he more like, I'll do whatever it takes to make money? So two different types of thinking. I'll go into a few more things as we wrap it up. What funnel to run? So I'm going to just list out all the funnels that we have out. So easiest to hardest. I'm going to draw a gradient here. So what funnel to run? I'm going to draw a gradient here. I'm going to put this as hard. I'm going to put this as easy. So easiest type of funnel, again, it's anything to do with organic. And by the way, if you don't see my screen for some reason, just let me know and unmute yourself. I would be happy to see what's wrong. Okay, so easiest to run is organic because they're watching a lot of your content, anything. So anything that's organic driven, whether it's a VSL call funnel, webinar, book funnel, uh, type, application form and then book a call, whatever it is, if it's organic, it's the easiest thing ever because they're consuming a lot of their content before they decide to book the call, right? So they've consumed a lot of the content before. That's the big reason. So any funnel at the organic would work. Okay. Hardest. What is the absolute hardest? This is what I think is the absolute hardest. Door knocking. So door knocking, obviously it's not a virtual funnel, but if you think about the mechanics of it, you're walking up to a complete stranger, you're cold approaching this guy, right? You're going to a whole bunch of doors in your neighborhood, you have no idea who the hell's who. You just know that, okay, maybe it's a richer neighborhood from the outset, but they have no interest in you from the start, and you have to convince them. It's such a longer sales cycle. It's a harder sales cycle. So that's what door knocking is, right? And then before, maybe we have one step before, instant forms. So I don't know if you guys all know what instant forms is. Instant forms are forms on Facebook you can fill out with the contact information, email, name, and phone number, and that's it. So you click on add, it shows a Facebook form, you fill it up, and then, oops, we'll contact you. Instant forms are really, really, really hard. And I've run those ads before because it's just about basic interests. People who fill it out, they sometimes forget, but that's a funnel. That's how people crush on Facebook. I'll show you why they crush in a second. So that's instant forms. We have, what is the next thing? I would say lead magnet actually. So free lead magnet, VSL, book, call, VSL, book, call, delayed timer. I'll explain what this means in just a second. Then we have what do we have? We have a webinar. And then we have a challenge. Ooh, I forgot to add a low ticket. How do I do this? Okay, I'll just erase this here. Organic. A low, so organic, I'll put referral here. I would put low ticket here. I would put webinar here. Cool. So when you go up the gradient from easy to hard, from hard to easy, when you go up, BSL Book a Call is the toughest freaking funnel to run that I see a lot of people running. And I don't know why people do this. VSL Book a Call funnel is more for in-market demographics, which means, for example, Sean's running one right now called Creative Strategist. And so that I think that he will do well with that because a lot of people in the market they're looking for what is a creative strategist. So he's very early to market, and so because he's early to market, people are looking for a solution right now. And so when they see on when they scroll through their Facebook, they're looking at communities, that's top of mind. And so when he calls that top of mind in a book a call funnel, um, typically the person can resonate with the problem a lot more, and they're more problem focused. That's why they're booking the call. Again, it still doesn't you don't care too much for quality at this point. You're gonna get a whole bunch of unqualified leads if you run a what we call completely cold funnel. Um, Whereas if you have a delayed timer, what this means is that we can delay the VSL. So people can watch a VSL, they have to watch it for like 10 minutes or like 15 minutes before the application shows up to book the call. That's what a delayed timer is for VSW call. And so we do this because we want to force the consumption. We want to make sure that they've actually watched the video before they go ahead and fill out the form and book a call. So if you at all have to run a VSW book a call funnel, do this. Please, please do this. You're going to control somewhat of the consumption. Again, it's still not good, but this is the best you can do for that sort of funnel. Webinar. Webinar in terms of the easy, like how easiest to like get the sale. Webinar means they consume you, right? We're talking about live webinar typically. Live webinar, they need to consume, they need to sit down, they need to watch you for like 2 or 3 hours before they get presented with the pitch. So webinar is probably the easiest to run ads to and scale if you're just starting out. If you're just starting out completely from scratch, you want to do webinar because webinar is probably the only funnel here, except for challenge, which I didn't really add. Um, Maybe I'll add challenge like here. Webinar is the only funnel aside from the challenge where you need to sit across you for like 3 days or 5 days and you're just consuming. You have to consume. Like you're buying the fact that I'm going to be here from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. and I'm going to learn about this particular skill. Right. So that's a webinar. And again, webinar is more pain focused, it's more like opportunity driven and pain focused. So it's different than a challenge, it's less value than a challenge. But for consumption's sake, it's still the best because in a webinar, you're highlighting your story. That's the main thing. You're just highlighting your story and you're trying to build relatability with the prospect. Okay. It's still harder to close because your sales team has to be dialed in. Your sales team still has to deal with if it's a warm, if it's a cold, it's still someone who's just been there for 2 hours, and then you're presenting the pitch to him, right? So there's still the element of, okay, I need to know more about you. I need to trust you more. There's still that aspect to it. But again, if you compare to everything else here, it's it's a much better frame of mind. Again, for lead magnet, I just want to talk about this for a second. Even if you download the lead magnet, what are the chances they're going to read it? And what are the chances they're going to consume the whole thing, the whole 20-page, 10-page PDF? You don't know. But in a webinar, they are right there. They have to consume you. If not, they'll have to like screw off, they're driving or whatever, but they're right there. That's why webinars are working for a lot of people right now instead of a lead magnet for consumption, right? So you can see a lot of this is based on consumption. Now, speaking of consumption, you get to low ticket, which is my favorite funnel of all time because low ticket, when you set it up and you have a good funnel running, it's basically evergreen. So all you're just optimizing for is within the funnel, the ascension, how many people book a call, how many people, they buy the book. Because the most important thing is how many people are buying the book, and how many people are setting to high ticket, setting to the actual, coaching program and booking a call. That's it. Just two things. For everything else, there's a lot of different variables to consider. Low ticket is just two things. That's it. And then how much am I getting per customer off the front end? So their AOV, I can liquidate on the front end. Again, you're probably not going to liquidate, but if you can earn something from that, that's awesome. And again, this is the only funnel ever that you can get something up front, aside from, of course, a challenge. Okay, so we got low ticket referrals. Referrals is awesome because someone else referred them to you, so that prospect has his friend to go to. Any objections? Like, how do you know this guy is legit? So that's awesome, but I still put a challenge above the referral. because a challenge, you have that person straight for 3 or 5 days. Nothing really beats that consumption of person just being right there, learning from you, being in the same room, or watching the replay before. There's nothing quite like a challenge. It's a lot of work, but if you can make it work, if you can make it such that they're there for the 3 days, if they're not buying, they don't have the money. It's really as simple as that. And so challenge is probably the highest consumption ever out of the three funnels, out of all the other funnels out here. And then you got organic. Organic is the king. Again, organic is number one. Very easy. It's a layup deal, as I call it. And any funnel over here would crush in organic because they've already consumed a lot before booking a call. Okay, so I want to talk about, okay, let me know if this makes sense, guys. If you guys could just put in the chat if you understand, that would be awesome for me. Just put like a one, I guess, if this is clear for you. Sweet. Thank you. All right, I will continue. What funnel to run? All right, so I want to talk about when you talk about different clients, I want to talk about sales teams because chances are when you come in, maybe they might have a closer, a setter, and you have to optimize this based on sales team. So if someone has a dialed in sales team already, for example, they've been used to door knocking, if you put instant forms, they're going to crush because door knocking is the hardest shit ever. Cold calling, I'd say actually cold calling. Cold calling, because door knocking you're actually in front of them. Cold calling is probably the toughest funnel ever. But if you give them, maybe I'd say maybe it's equally door knocking, who knows? But if you give them instant form leads, they already have inbound interest. Again, it's a much easier sell in their mind compared to cold calling. And so when they are used to cold calling and they go up the gradient of ease of funnels, they're gonna love you for it. It's gonna be so much easier. And so this is obviously rare, but if you have a client like that and you put in like an instant form or lead magnet leads, they're gonna do well. And so I'm gonna put, for example, like the sales team. So I'm gonna write here sales team quality. So if you have a dialed in sales team, I'm gonna put here uh, Grant Cardone Commandos. So Grant Cardone's team used to do this all like I think cold calling. I don't think they did door knocking, but they did cold calling. They would just cold call Facebook businesses. This is back in the day, like maybe 8 years ago. And so they're cold calling and they hit like $1 million months by cold calling. And so imagine if you give them instant forms, they're gonna really love it. They're gonna be like, wow, these people actually want to talk to us now. Instead of me trying to call them. And so when you have that kind of dialed in sales team where they are so forceful on the phone, giving them inbound leads is just going to crush. And so I would call them Grand Current Commandos. Uh, very, very dialed in sales team. So organic sales team, I would call them let's see, let me just rewrite this properly. Sales team. I would call these guys McDonald's order takers. So I call these McDonald's order takers because you don't need too much to close organic deals. You'll see most of your organic leads, they're going to have a higher close rate independent of the actual closer itself because they already bought in. I remember when I first joined my first coaching program, I was so bought into the program that I just was texting like, hey, can you please like literally the first thing like, hey, X, Y, and Z referred me to you. I would like to join. Can you give me the details? And I was just texting him, can you send the link? Can you please send the payment link? And I was selling myself, right? And so, and I was the organic lead. And so if you're a closer, you don't need to do too much aside from just saying, hey, hi, what would you like today? Would you like fries with that too? And that's it. That's really who you are if you're dealing with all organic leads. You don't need too much of sales, objection handling, that's very basic stuff. It's like, oh yeah, the fries, can I have it without salt? Oh, of course, we can have it without salt. That's like the level of sales ability for organic leads. And so going down the gradient, that will be how dialed in your sales team has to be, right? If you're dealing with lead magnet leads, you guys have to be super dialed in. ASL call, again, dialed in. Webinar, not too dialed in, but it has to be a lot of objections. It has to be they bought in the story, waiting to be pushed over the line. And so I'd say right over here, BSL, like right over here, you're living life in hard mode. Like this is like your clothes have to be very dialed in. And then maybe this part to here is like easy, easy, and this is hard, and this is like, commando sales team. Now, lead magnet, you're playing the volume game with the lead magnet, but for sure, in infinite forms and words, it's commandos. And so that's what you want to really consider, like who is the sales team? Usually, it's just the founder, right? So if it's just the founder, typically it's maybe somewhere actually here. Again, having the founder-led sales teams, it's very much like, again, when you talk to the founder and you're like, oh my God, I can't be talking to you, you're awesome, you have that going on for the prospect. So it's not a great it's not very, how can I say this? It doesn't reflect properly of the kind of sales team you have if it's just founder. Because when someone comes on board, the founder usually has a higher close rate than anyone else, right? So most people wouldn't have a sales team, maybe a setter. And so for you guys, just consider running any funnel around along this side because you're optimizing for consumption. Okay. So I'm going to talk about what I'm just going to talk about three main things as I wrap this up. I'm going to talk about the founder himself around this topic. So when you see what funnel to run, you got to think about a few things from the founder's perspective. I'm going to use a line here. Um, we have to talk about what he's optimizing for in his business. Is it lifestyle freedom, or at the other end of the spectrum, it's I will do anything for money. I will do anything for. That's him. And so you need to ask yourself and talk to him about it. Where is this guy in his journey? Is he someone he's built a business already? This coaching thing is a side thing, right? So if so, he's going to be somewhere here. If he's just starting out, all right, I'll do anything, just tell me what to do and I'll freaking do it. He's here, right? So typically, if you go towards all the way at the extreme, you can get to scammy territory. You get to like black hat, you get to like, I'll do whatever it takes. I'll do whatever it takes to the point of illegal activity. Then of course you're like, all right, not for me. Depending on your own moral, your moral and ethical values, it's not a good client anyway for any reason. And so, what you want to aim off is somewhere around here or even here. This is probably the great sweet spot. Um, Not quite actually. I want to take that back. I want them to be somewhere around, I'd say here. So the best kind of client is if you draw a halfway line, it's somewhere just over, okay, I don't know what it takes, but I'm willing to do it. But I still want to chill back and relax. And so if you're over here, it means that your relationship with growth, the founder's relationship with growth is going to be like, okay, I'm willing to commit money upfront, capital upfront. I'm willing to reinvest in the business again and again and again to get to higher levels. And so this is probably the really sweet spot. If we talk about here, he's just like trying to lay back. It's okay up to a certain point. I'd say maybe until like 2 mil a year. Typically, or maybe to a point where you see, let's say, 20 or 20 students, 30 students coming in, you need to have more dialed in accountability systems. It's going to be hard for you to implement those to ensure client success. And so for me, my business plan actually is somewhere around here, I'd say. So not the best, and I have to be the one pushing him to like here, here, here. Um, so it's not the best, but again, that has allowed for me to do whatever the hell I wanted with the business, to be as creative as I could be, to put in funnels that direct me to sales. But I also have to optimize for, all right, if we run a webinar, for example, he's not going to be showing up every single week. It's going to be tough because his business is the main thing, coaching is a side thing. He wants to spend like less than 5 hours a week. All right, you got to optimize for that. And so you still could run a webinar, you could do all the work, but just keep in mind that like, what sort of business that he want to run, what kind of life does your founder want to run? And so you can start off with webinars, of course, but that shouldn't be the end game. Okay, so that's on the founder. Um, I will talk about what you should do if you're completely new. So let's say you meet a client, he's relatively new, doesn't have a proper, uh, you know, selling coaching program yet. What should you do? Let's talk about that because that's what most of you guys are. If completely new. Um, how should I structure this? Yeah, if completely new, what I would do is, again, this is probably based on the fact that he has a high ticket program. Even if he doesn't, actually, it's okay because you want to just book as many calls, one-to-one calls with him, for your founder, so that they have a full calendar of calls. They can convert them into one-to-one clients. Then from there, we build out the high ticket program based on, okay, what are you coaching? How can we shift this into a proper, 12-week coaching program? And so it's not the end of the world, but it's very, very helpful if they already have a coaching program. Now, first thing you want to do if it's completely new, um, is you want to run a webinar. You want to do it weekly and crazy organic push. You want to do a webinar every single week. So call Webby. If you have a list, okay, send your leads. You're doing email marketing to your list. You're trying to get them on the webinar. And so this webinar is to get them to book a call with you. Right? So you're doing that every single week. You're going to run ads to it. And so that's the best way for you to gather data, which is the next thing. So what found work typically comes to, it comes down to the question of what data do I have? What do I know about the market? And so if I know a lot of things about market, I can just do a low ticket straight away. I don't even need to run a webinar pretty much. I can say, hey, I know what they're struggling with. I know what they need. I know the bite-sized info they need right now to feel like, okay, they've leveled up. But how can I actually get started? How can I avoid the pain of fucking up? Like I mentioned earlier in this video. And so you want to get the data. Webinars are the best way to do it. Again, because webinar, then you're going to pitch book a call. You're going to have a lot of data to work with to figure out, okay, where should my funnel be? What sort of funnel should I run? Okay. And then the end game I feel should always be low ticket. So low ticket to high ticket via book call, challenge, Q&A call. So let's talk about Q&A calls for a quick second here. Q&A calls I typically do once they book a call and they don't buy, I would send them here. So your founder typically, if he's first starting out, he wants to, maximize his cash flow, he has time. Founder responsibility should be webinar to book a call and then Q&A call, maybe bi-weekly, I'd say. And this Q&A call is for everyone who booked a call, but they didn't close. They just need questions. They need to be held. Maybe if they have money and they're not closing, then get them on the call, get your founder to close them. Okay, so this is my game plan for you on if you're working with someone fairly new, what do? You don't have enough data, bam, do this. Okay, all right, so that's what I'm going to leave you with. I'm going to leave you with one final thing. Time, trust. Every single funnel that crushes has these two elements. Evergreen funnels, they crush. Time and trust. Time. How much time am I spending with um with the prospect? Again, you can see over here. VSL, not much time. Challenge, whole bunch of time, right? And it's easier to close them. Trust also, how much they trust you, right? If they don't trust you at all, then this is going to be hard. This is like really low trust. This is completely low trust. But if you're in a challenge, guess what? Of course I trust you. If you're in a webinar, of course I trust the fact that these next 2 hours are not going to be a complete waste of my time. And so every single client that you come across, you see their funnel, you see what's working now, you got to ask yourself, do the prospects currently spend a lot of time with them, with the founder or with the sales team? Do the prospects trust my sales team? If not, where do I work with? Okay. All right. So hope this was really helpful on what funnel to run, what you should do for your clients, and we can go deeper um, in some future call. Awesome. So I'm going to just check the chat for a second here, see what you guys are saying. Cool. All right. So any questions on this so far before I move into your questions? Feel free to pop in chat. Feel free to unmute just on this, on what I've spoken about. Well, let me just put this here. Thanks for the sauce. Awesome info. Yep. Awesome. Thank you, Jen and Leilani. Yeah, so you can tell I'm really excited for this. I don't see people talking about this at all. And for me, based on my experience, we've tried a bunch of funnels here. I'm working with students for this also. I want to mention some things, but I will take your questions first. I want to talk about, and I'll put this maybe for next call, market, demo, graphic, uh, USA, Europe, Aus, Asia. I'm actually, I've been friends and I've been working with students who have offers in different parts of the world, and it's so interesting to see what funnels work and why. And so I want to talk about this, but I'm going to answer your questions first. I don't want to get too carried away. All right, so Eric, I know you came first. Um, Talk to me about, so you asked me how can I have a foot in the door with the client? Was that correct? Do you want to just go
Yeah,
deeper on your
yeah. I
question?
was just like, how did you even start your
Okay.
conversation about doing your partnerships? But foot in the door is, yeah, where it all starts, isn't it?
Yes, let's talk about that. So, foot in the door. What's your specialty? Is it email marketing? Is it ads?
It's been so
What are
far,
you
it's been
in?
email marketing. I'm doing the ads now that Sean's kind of pushed on that as the new way to go.
Yep.
So yeah, I've been doing basically the reverse marketing, but I've been doing it manually, and so it's very slow. Um,
What do you mean by manually?
like manually signing up for lists, manually checking my
Got it, got it.
spam, manually replying to everybody. I need to move that all into Claude and automate it, but I'm working on that yet.
Got it. Okay, so let's talk about these two foot in the door. So, foot in the door is typically any service, like what you mentioned. So, if we talk about email, yeah, again, it's okay, spam. Uh, you hop on a call with them, you pitch a one-time project, and then you collect data about business,
Right.
plus problems, and then basically you pitch solution,
Hmm.
give ideas. And so this is the main overview that I would take. Uh, Whatever that's the front. Again, what is the biggest problem? Is it email deliverability, spam? That's your foot in the door. You book your
Hmm.
call, pitch a one-time project, and then during this time in between the pitch and fulfilling on your solution, you're asking the data about them, like, hey, I want to just know about your business, demographics, tell me what funnels you've been running, etc., leads. And so from their perspective, it's all because you want to help them with email. For you, your motive is you want to profit share, go deeper, see if there's any potential with the client. And so you want to gather data about the business from there. You want to
Hmm.
be giving ideas like, hey, the people coming in, email deliverability, it's not gonna emails are not gonna hit home if they're not the client avatar. And so who's your client avatar? Are your
Right.
leads actually the client avatar? And so what you can do is even pitch like a type form, have them all fill out a type form when they first become a lead in your email list. For example, if they're running a lead magnet funnel as the lead magnet, uh, in the thank you email, you say, hey, your ebook is around the corner. Just fill out this quick form so we get to know more about you and we can serve you better. We can create better videos for you. Fill up this form and then the ebook is at the end. And so that way they collect data about whether the leads are the actual avatars that they want. And so you can help give ideas like that, and then be like, okay, cool. The leads are coming in, but they're not moving forward. All right, you need a setter. All right, you need this. So you can go deeper, see what the problems are, and you can pitch your solution. So the
Okay.
pitch
Yeah,
could,
that's kind of what I've been doing. I just guess I'm not
right.
getting much past step one there, unfortunately.
Okay, so that's
Getting
what we need to work on, right? That's all this
yeah.
can be later. Um, so what Sean is doing now is obviously is more ads. So we'll talk about that. Ads is foot in the
Hmm.
door. And so the problem there is actually this is one thing actually I wanted to talk to you guys about. Um, Really, really, it's definitely an issue even for me because a lot of the ads fatigue very fast, and so I really need a constant refinement of ads that is tailored towards the right avatar I want to bring in. And so for me, I bring in about maybe I think 60% is the right avatar and 40% are like brokies, uh, broke, ideal. Okay. And so every week, honestly, it's a whole challenge. So if I had someone doing the ads, just like repeat, we have a media buyer who's doing that, and I can see the value for her. And so she's always seeing in our sets, the sets that we have. Again, ours is do call close. We have lead come in, they buy the book, set to call. So they get set to a consult call, and then consult call to a sales call. So I guess setting to the sales call. So to call close. And so from my media buyer, she's always saying, okay, are the sets that we are making, um, are they the right avatar that we want? And so chances are that we need to tailor the ads that are working, the ads that are bringing in these, the ads that are not, we need to kill that, right? So it's a process every single week to work through. And so that's a big selling point for you guys. If you come in, you say, hey, I can be the one doing this. I can be the creative strategist, you know, making sure that people coming into your ads are your ideal avatar, and they always are that way. And so for me, that's actually been a big thing, keeping the quality with the ads. And so for you, that's the foot in the door. Your foot in the door is, okay, are you attracting your ideal avatar? With ads, you got Andromeda as a pain point for founders like me. Again, we need to push out a whole bunch of ads because the targeting has changed, right? So you want to call this out. Targeting as in it's no longer easy to use Facebook as a targeting mechanism. You have to make sure the ad itself has the right messaging structures. It's calling out to your avatar properly instead of like a general audience, which can be broke people. So you need to obviously work on that foot in the door, being connecting with them. So obviously you're doing it through cold email, and LinkedIn. Does this make sense so far?
Yes, yes, it does.
Awesome. So if you're working on the ads, again, you have these pain points that you're calling out your email. So yeah, I would be looking into, okay, your cold email campaign. Who are they? Who's the kind of lead that I want? Um, are they running ads? If they're not running ads, then you're going to be saying, hey, you're missing out on this opportunity for running ads. I can give you a done for you solution. So you want to make sure you segment your prospects into two different buckets. Not running ads and running ads, because both are different opportunities, different pain points.
Gotcha.
That's
Thank you.
that's what I would do. Yeah, because I did have something similar like years ago when I was doing it, and I remember it was like I would segment two different messaging structures. If they're not running ads, you're losing money. If you're running ads, still losing money, still losing money. But and you need a better solution. And Andromeda is fucking you up. This is what we're going to do to change it. Book a call. Okay, and you can say, hey, you're with AI. I'm doing it properly. Again, I have so many ideas here for you guys, but I will leave it at that. Hey, thanks for tuning in. If you're a copywriter or an agency owner and you're burnt out with low paying clients, or if you're a coach and you're doing between 30 to 60K a month and you want a proven system to scale, then listen up. I'm doing a free game plan call with you to map out your path to your first 100K month. I've personally scaled a real estate coaching business with my business partner to consistent 250K to 300K months, so I live and breathe results. Hit the link in the description of this video, fill out the form, and if it's a good fit for you, we'll have a call. We'll break down your situation and build a clear game plan to your first 100K month. I'll talk to you soon.